Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the counselor's office. I just got done recording This Week in Destiny, so I'm going to be uploading both these videos at the same time, it looks like. But I wanted to make sure I don't make such a massive video, so I'm splitting it up for your beautiful faces. We are back with Destiny. This is the dev insight for the final shape armor tuning. I'm still waking up. Here we are. We're jumping into it. Hello, this is the armor team with an overview of some of the tuning changes we're making for the final shape. We've been primarily focused on updates to bring our existing armor and mods up to date for the release of the prismatic subclass. This includes a fairly wide range of changes across the roster of exotic armor, as well as some updates to specific weapon mods. In addition to that, we still managed to find the time to branch out a little, including putting together a little update for those of you just a few points short of the triple 100 stat loadout. It is so annoying. It happens all the time. Subclass matching, prismatic, and you. Our existing armor mods were originally released in a world where each subclass was only ever a single element. Since that will no longer be true with the release of Final Shape, we've taken a pass through our existing gear. Please fix build crafting in this game. For the most part, this meant updating exotic armor and armor mods to reference a player's equipped super element instead of a specific subclass. This allows their effect to function on a prismatic without changing their behavior on the original subclass. For example, the Titan exotic Hoarfrost will require just a stasis super to be equipped, rather than the full stasis subclass. We've also taken the opportunity to update the description of harmonic mods to better explain their behavior and to fully support strand and resistant mods. However, in a few places we want to make more meaningful changes. We've detailed them below, along with our reasoning. Hunter. Triton Vice no longer requires a glaive that matches your subclass to trigger its extra detonation. Given the limited pool of glaive options, we wanted to open this up to support a wider variety of builds. We also wanted to let the glaive melee bonus linger for a bit after you stop being surrounded to add more ease of use and to bring it further into parity with Syntheseps. Glaive projectile final blows now trigger a detonation that matches the glaive's damage type, even when the glaive does not match the equipped subclass. The surround effect provided by Triton's Vice while wielding a glaive now lingers on a player for 5 seconds after no longer being surrounded. Dragon's Shadow. By the way, I still don't know if I care about Triton Vice. It's neat, but I still don't care. Dragon's Shadow has been updated to trigger its effect when using an Snare Slam or the new Ascension Arc aspect, opening up more buildcraft combinations. Thank you. I like hearing more buildcraft combinations. Sounds great. Bow Tracer now grants the bonus damage it inflicts on a target to weapons. The damage type also matches that of the ability used to damage that target instead of always matching your equipped subclass. With Prismatic, you can apply a variety of different damage elements with your abilities, and this change will allow Foe Tracer to buff multiple different weapon types instead of just one that matches your subclass or super element. Now, does that override it if I use Arc and then I use Solar? Do I get buffs at the same time, or do I have to min-max babysit? I just use Arc, so I have to use my Hothead, or I just use Solar, so I can't use my Solar Sniper right now. I'm not getting the damage bonus. I hope it's at the same time. We wanted to add an additional benefit to the 6 Coyote, along with Armamentarium for Titans, since otherwise the Spirit of Coyote perk on the new exotic class item would have granted the same benefits as the original exotic. We took inspiration from Claws of Amakara and added the ability of the 6 Coyote to create orbs from final blows after using your class ability. This implemented as an exotic granted a free copy of the Reaper mods. Okay, cool. So Reaper is now built into 6 Coyote. More reason to use it outside of just cheesing specific things like getting an extra dodge. Renewal Grasp has been updated to grant the new Frost Armor Stasis keyword instead of the best spoken damage reduction effect. On entering your Dustfield Grenade, you and your allies gain a stack of Frost Armor, about 0.9 seconds on additional snacks. This might be better, it might be a buff in the long run, but I still think it's a nerf in the fact that it's not immediate. Right now, you can throw a Dusk and get, I think, 25% damage DMR right off the rip. So it is definitely a nerf in that sense, but it might be a buff if you are able to, avoid being hit. Star Eater Scales. Uh-oh. Has always been a strong exotic, but after the Lightfall changes to armor mods, orbs of power are much easier to come by. We wanted to adjust Star Eater scales to balance the effort required to gain its powerful effects. On top of this, we're making a change regarding its efficiency when paired with multiple players running Golden Gun. To reduce its potential for Fire Team to loop supers indefinitely, increase the orbs. Oh, that's not bad. Reduce the increased super energy gain per orb when the Golden Gun is equipped from 2% to 0.5%. That's fine. I never was a part of the band of hunters that just ran 600s to cheese things. And 6 is not nearly as bad. Yes, it sucks and it's more you have to do. But I think this is fair because, especially prismatic, creating orbs should be easier, Bungie. So this sucks, especially for pole dancers. But I think it's fair. Titan, we've updated Ursa Furiosa to improve new Void Aspect Unbreakable in addition to its previous effects. Now provides increased movement speed while guarding with Unbreakable. Okay, neat. Also grants super energy for guarding with Unbreakable. This energy scales based on the amount of incoming damage the shield absorbs. Oh. Are we back? Is Furiosa banner back? Because you used to be able to get your super almost immediately. So are we back with this? Like sitting here in GMs? Are we back, baby? I think this has to be called back because they know GMs are going to be so much harder now because of this. And that's also probably why GMs were scaled back from negative 25 to negative 20 to try to help to offset well. Because I think that is something to consider, is that things that were built around well and made harder should definitely be scaled back with well, in my opinion. And then there should definitely be some things that are challenging. But I think Grandmasters, without a world where well is as strong as it is, will still be challenging. I don't think it's necessary because I can think of several GMs right now and even master raids where you could get away with not using a well if you're smart. We'll see. We'll see how the community takes it. I know the 1% people are eating their hearts out who've been wanting these nerfs, but I think this is going to give more access to Titans who've been kind of slept on, to be honest. Eternal Warrior no longer requires an arc subclass for arc funnel blows to grant escalating arc weapon damage. This allows it to synergize with prismatic builds more easily. Its behavior related to Fist of Havoc is unchanged. Like the 6 Coyote, Armataran was updated with an additional benefit beyond granting a second grenade and now creates orbs from grenade final blows. Okay. I mean, okay. So it had a free copy of Firepower in it. So cool. I like that. Cool. So you don't have to run Firepower. Wait, can you stack it though? Can this be stacked with, or if you're using this exotic, can you no longer can stack it? I hope it's the case that it's just free and you don't have to use it, because that opens up more mod slots and it creates more diversity. But if they allow it to stack, then I'm definitely going to stack it. I'm just saying, like, we know that's going to happen. Kepri's Horn was feeling lackluster in many situations, so we increased the potency of its Solar Blast. Yes, increased the damage from Solar Blast by 100% in PvE. The Solar Blast now scorches each time it hits a target instead of scorching only once. Okay, so now benefits from Ember of Eruption, Ember of Ashes, plus 30 Scorch in PvE, plus 15 Scorch in PvP. Okay, so that's good. Kepri's Horn might be on the table as a defensive exotic. You pull up a banner, bam, take that damage, baby. We might see some funky builds with Kepri's Horn. We'll see. Part of Inmost Light's buff in the HUD could easily crowd out other information. We felt that it could be less verbose in the HUD feedback, so now it displays our single consolidated stats effect in the HUD to communicate its state instead of the 2 to 3 used before. The functionality of the exotic is unchanged. Okay, that was like fondling the balls of Titans because they're like, oh, is it back? No, it's not. It's the same as it was. Synthoceps is an exotic all about being in the thick of group enemies, and its effects are potent to offset the inherent danger of being surrounded. However, we felt that it was too easy to carry those powerful effects once triggered into far less dangerous 1v1 encounters. Reduce the amount of time that bionic enhancement lingers after no longer being surrounded from 8 to 5 seconds. This duration is now visible as a timer on the buff. I think that's fair. that's the whole point of using Synthoceps. And I don't think this is going to be as big of a deal as people think, because theoretically, as soon as you get out and you go back into a situation, this is going to matter more for bosses than it is actual any other content. And to be honest, Titans should not be 1v1ing a boss. They should not be doing what they're doing on Warlord's Ruin. We can all agree that a Titan shouldn't be punching a boss in the face repeatedly until it dies in one go. Just saying. Severance Enclosure. It's a particularly nosy exotic when it comes to effects blasting enemies around the battlefield. We want to alleviate some of the... Oh, sorry. No, I said noisy. It's noisy. Some of the noise and awkwardness around the explosions to better bring them in line with our other area effect exotics. Now it requires line of sight to damage enemies. We also reduce the knockback intensity of these explosions, which will now launch enemies more consistently vertically. This is all like quality of life. I wish it was actually like buffs, but we'll see. Mantle Battle Harmony has been adjusted to grant more super energy for defeating powerful enemies, and the cooldown on granting super energy has been removed. This is intended to make it more potent in a variety of activities. Now grant super energy ranging from plus 5% to 4.5% depending on the target type you killed. Holy crap. Remove the 2-second cooldown for the perk activation. This actually is a buff, and it might be the new Warlock exotic since Well and all that got nerfed. This might be the go-to. Like this might be it. Battledor's Weaver Wraith has been updated to grant the Frost Armor status keyword. We knew about this. I'm moving on. Activating your Rift grants you nearby maximum frost. Activating your Winter Wraith attack. Yeah. We already knew about this from the other video. Secret Filaments. Empowering Rift will now reset a player's existing Devour buff duration back to 11 seconds when they enter. Oh, it's a buff. Okay. Yeah, so this is an exotic where if you're in Empowering Rift, you get Devour and you can stun Overload champions, which is something that I don't think people realize is a thing or forget is a thing. Like, it's a really good Warlock exotic, and it really does let you build into like champions. Like I want more of this. Secret Filaments lets you use weapons without actually having to use artifacts. Like, you don't have to be tied into using rockets for Overload. You can use linears, you can use grenade launchers to be your Overload champion weapon because of Secret Filaments. The only downside is it only works as long as you have a Rift. And if you don't have a Rift, you're kind of SOL. It's a dead exotic. So I kind of wish there was a little, like, I wish there's more synergy outside of just Rifts. I don't know. Let me know in the comments down what you think. Variety's Brow now requires final blows with a weapon matching your grenade damage type instead of one matching your equipped subclass. This is better supports. Okay, that's okay. Whatever. Sun Bracers. Warlocks, they're coming for you. They've got the fangs out. Here we go. Here, it's the Salty Greppo special. All right, Sunbracers has seen quite a bit of time in the sun this season. We wanted to bring some of its extreme potency and crowd control while also tackling the visual noise it produces on the battlefield. However, we didn't want to remove its core identity of blinking the field in solar light. Reduce the solar grenade duration from 4 to 2 seconds. Reduce its increased recharge rate to allow it max 4 grenades while it's active, down from 5. Ooh. I don't know. I mean, solar grenade duration 2 seconds on the battlefield. Your 2-second grenade, and you can only throw about 4 grenades. It's no longer going to be used to do boss damage, that's for sure. When multiple Warlocks used Xenotaph on a single target, resulted in a far more heavy ammo than was healthier for the sandbox. It also pushed fire teams into the same build, which is more reductive than we would like. Multiple players use Xenotaph can no longer trigger an effect using a single enemy target. Xenotaph target lock visual marker is now hidden for the exotic wear only appears to the wearers. So essentially, just call out what you're shooting first. Hey guys, I'm shooting this target. Is it up? Yes, we see it. I think that's fair. In fact, it's kind of nice because then I don't have to sit there and stare at this big X, but you can call out when the target's dead. Like, this is gonna, for teams that are well coordinated, this is a nothing burger. For your blueberries, this is gonna be like, did you kill it? No. Multiple players using it. So I didn't know that multiple using it would stack. I didn't know that, but guys, you can still use and safe. That exotic is still in the house. It is riskier because you have to finish targets and you have to be coordinated, but I think that's why Bungie's allowing it. I'm going to shut my mouth before we get to the next location because as we read, we might see Nerfs. I'm going to say that this is fine. Like, whatever. Xenotaph in itself, the build type did get a nerf with Divinity because it was so easy to have a Divinity user use it. So this all around, this is a bunch of nerfs to the ammo economy, which I think is a big problem in Destiny in general. Like, it's not consistent. Armor finder mods are not consistent. There's been tests about, like, should you use one? Should you even use one? Like, it's just inconsistent. And I think people are abusing this system because it's more guaranteed. And Bungie should realistically look at the ammo economy and how, like, that's an actual economy. By the way, it's not like Legendary Shards. This is fictional economy. This is an actual economy that impacts everyone, and everyone can use it if you have scouts on. So this impacts people more. I would definitely think they should investigate how could they improve the ammo economy in general, because it sucks how inconsistent it is. Especially if you wipe, not because of your skill, but because of the fact that you had no ammo. And you did everything you could to make ammo. Exotics, using exotic primaries, killing as much as possible, killing yellow bars. Like, it's stupid. All right, powered melee and armor effects. The term powered melee has always intended to mean spending a melee charge. However, subclass elements like combination blow or knockout will allow players to circumvent this cost. This makes it difficult to balance the potency of effects that require powered melee, especially across all classes and subclasses. We wanted to standardize this better across the sandbox. We are starting to updating Severance and Closure in Assassin's Creed to only trigger their effects when a player spends a melee charge or uses a finisher to get a final blow. We plan on rolling this type of change out to more content that triggered power melees in future updates. So spends a charge. Okay. So if you get it right back, does that not spend it? Because if you punch something, you technically can get it right back. So is it not spending it? Is that so? Is this a nerf? Like, that's what I'm wondering, because when you use it, you can get it right back with certain builds. Like, you would have to dodge. Yes, because so if you have ×3, you get a punch, but it doesn't actually consume it. It wouldn't trigger. So you actually have to use it now. So I think this is a nerf. I'm trying to. I haven't used a invisible assassin build where I'm just running around punching things in a hot minute. But if I remember, if you're just running and so if you're just running, you have ×3 combination up, and you just regularly punch things. You just punch things. It doesn't consume a charge, thus it will not trigger Assassin's Cal anymore, which means this is a hard nerf. You have to punch, and then you have to find an enemy to dodge to refund your melee. So the uptime is dramatically reduced in the sense if you mess up that combination of punching, going invisible, dodging, punching again, and then you should get your class ability back if they don't tweak things too much. If you mess up that flow, you are severely punished. So I guess they're trying to make it more risk reward. Okay, sorry, I had to think it in my head because it's been a minute. So definitely this is a nerf. Exotic Artifice upgrades. Even if you, excuse the heck out of me. Exotic Artifice upgrades. Even if you spent time to get that triple 100 Artifice armor to set your build, one piece has always been left out. Whether you're looking to make everything match or get at least a +3 resilience, or just want to get your hands on Artifice gear for the first time, we figured it was about time for us to help tie up loose ends. With the release of the final shape, exotic armor will now be able to access the unique mod slot and free stat mods of Artifice armor. This comes at the cost of 1 exotic cipher and 10k glimmer. And it has to be upgraded. Can now be upgraded after it's been fully masterworked. So you have to spend 3 Ascendant shards to upgrade it, and then you have to use an exotic cipher. Man, do I love the fact that we get so many exotic ciphers in the game. Yeah, Xur only comes once a week, and you can only get it 1 time a week. Woo! 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 Dude, I hope they do introduce. I hope this means that they are introducing more exotic cipher locations, and it's not just the battle pass that you can get them. Like this, having to use this to get new exotics and exotic Artifice upgrades. Dude, they have to. Please tell me you're going to introduce more exotic cipher changes. Tell me you're introducing more. If it's just Xur once a week and then the battle pass, this sucks balls. Oh, let me shut my dirty little mouth. Maybe we're going to have improvement to ammo finder. I complained about this, so here we are. In the live game, heavy finder and special fighter armor mods reset their progress towards an ammo brick whenever you die. I didn't know that. I did not know that. This leads to players receiving less ammo and harder. Okay, well, I didn't know that was a thing. Well, that would explain the inconsistency. This leads to players receiving less ammo and harder difficulty activities, especially if they are playing right on the edge of their skill level. In fact, if you were unlucky enough to, with the timing of your character dying, it was possible to never get any finder bricks at all. In the final shape, we want to make ammo finders more predictable for players across activities. So heavy and special ammo finder mods will persist their progress towards an ammo brick through death. This means you will always get a brick if you defeat enough enemies, regardless of how many times you die alone. Thank you! Because of this change, we have disabled ammo finder mods in Crucible, and the player kills will no longer grant ammo. Screw, who cares? And player kills will no longer grant ammo finder in game. Who cares? Sorry, PvPs, PvE. These mods were meant for PvE anyway, so screw you guys. I'm sorry, I'm joking. Not really. We also found this change dramatically increased the amount of ammo players would receive on average, so we increased the kill requirement for both special and heavy by 20% for Guardians and Fire teams. Solo Guardians, however, have no one to resurrect them when they are defeated, so we have left their kill requirement unchanged. Okay, cool. Raid armor mods. The narrow application of raid mods allow us to give them potent benefits unique to the raid in which they are used. However, while these benefits are strong, they don't currently feel impactful enough in practice, especially since they have not fit into our existing builds. As a result, with the release of the final shape, we are making it much easier to layer these extra elements into your loadout as you go for that perfect weapon roll. Removed all energy costs from raid-specific armor mods. Wait, what? Did they take... I didn't realize that raid-specific armor mods. I didn't realize... Did they not already? I thought they removed that in the first place. I thought, what? Make it easier, extra elements into your loadouts as you go for the perfect weapon roll. Does this mean that there's going to be mods that let us get specific rolls? Conclusion, that's everything we have for this update. We're excited to see the changes to the final shape, and we'll be listening to your feedback as you get some time with these new changes. I mean, overall, this is not as bad as I thought it was. There's definitely a lot of nerfs. I think there was more nerfs in here than there were buffs. There was changes just like cosmetic and then terminology to work with prismatic, but there was definitely more nerfs than there was buffs. Like, let's count how many nerfs we had. Let's see. I guess this was a buff. This is a buff. This is not necessarily a buff. It was just more of a change. This is definitely a buff. Anything that got free mod in it was definitely a buff. So definitely this, you could say this is a buff. buff. This is a nerf, maybe a buff and a nerf. Nerf. Nerf buff. This is a buff. This is whatever. This Armoritarium was a buff. Kepris was definitely a buff. Nerf. This was a nerf because they nerfed it. Buff. I think this is a buff. Maybe nerf. Secret Filaments. Definitely a buff. Variety's Brow is a subclass buff. Nerf. Nerf. Let's see. What else? What else? The Powered Melee. So there was an Assassin's Cowl. Nerf. Severance Enclosure. Nerf. Yeah, there was a lot of nerfs in this. There was more nerfs than buffs. Like I'm actually not really particularly excited about anything in this. The only thing I'm really excited about is the exotic Artifice upgrades. They kind of did everyone dirty here. Like everyone equally got dirtied. Assassin Cowl being dirty for hunters. Nerf. Titans. Titans with Syntheseps was a nerf. So, and being your balls being fondled for heart and most light, you thought you were coming back to your glory. Nah. Severance Enclosure kind of got a nerf. Mostly because of in a fix. It's a nerf in a fix. Warlock definitely got a buff, but also got nerfed with its solar nades. I don't know. We'll see. I'm just really not excited for any of this. Let me know in the comments down below what you think. I'm just not excited, except for the exotic Artifice armor. Let me know. This was very lackluster in my opinion. Like when we've seen past changes to armor, we've seen some like real glow ups to certain exotics, and we've seen maybe harsher nerfs. So maybe that's the downside. It's not as much extreme buffs, but also not as low as, I don't know. Let me know what you think. The ammo finder is definitely a buff and a nerf, because if you were a team that wasn't dying in the first place, you always had ammo. So this is a nerf for high-end players, but it does add the buff of consistency of dying, because stupid crap does happen, and it is a feels bad that you wouldn't make ammo. As always, I'm Mr. Gaming Counselor. Let me know in the comments down below what you think. Until next time, game out. Huzzah.